What's up, guys? I'm going to show a couple different parts right now, including our favorite controller to turn anything on that we want on a car. It's the ride controller unit, and this is actually an 8-channel unit, so it can control up to 8 different things on the car. We just happen to have it hooked up on the bench so that we can show off these crazy-ass GTR taillights and demonstrate all the different modes, turn signal, show modes, reverse lights, all that. So let me just jump right in and walk through it. The first thing that we've done on these is we've isolated all the different LEDs and we've made it so we can control them with our computer programmed microcontrollers. So it's a Ghozt module. It's just super over the top techie stuff that nobody needs but everybody wants. And when you have it, you can do things like that. That's a mode that Jack dialed in just to show off how the parking lights can be used on these inside circles on these taillights. Normally they only work for brake lights, but we can control them in any way that we want. So we added an extra mode that normal GTRs don't have. This is the one that everybody's usually asking about. They want the cool sequential turn signals. So we have it set up right now to do turn signals showing the inside and the outside. Because we have the inside ones, we can take care of anybody in Europe. In Europe, you're not allowed to have the red LEDs turn on as your turn signal. They have to be amber. So we're able to do just these inside circles for our European customers. If you're in North America, it doesn't matter if it's amber or red. And in some cases, I guess, I didn't think it was gonna be cool to do this, but our customers are telling us they wanna have it do both, like this, exactly what you're seeing now. Doesn't matter what I think, it just matters what the guys that are paying for it think. So if this is what's cool to you, you can have that. If you want it to be just red, you can do it that way. Or if you want it to be just amber, you can do it that way. It's whatever you want. The next thing that we can do with the ride controller is our custom bonus modes. So these we also computer program to do whatever we want. And this one, I just call it scan. It's just basically going back through all the different LEDs, and it's just a little dance that it does. We can have it set up to do any animation we want. We program it on the computer by Jack, he sits there, he looks at all the different LEDs, the best way to get an animation that fits the shape. It doesn't really have a one-size-fits-all situation because some taillights have really crazy shapes and it doesn't make sense to just have them do a random pattern. So we really dial it in and try to make sense out of the shape of the light, what's gonna look the coolest on the car. In this case, it's totally just right out of the box. These are the stacking and the scan custom bonus modes. So we can make it do a lot of cool stuff that isn't shown here yet. And we'll have those parts available, those animations available for customers as well. This is where it gets kind of crazy. It does all the cool animations, but this is the intense reverse lights that these new panels do. And it's honestly like painful to sit here and turn these things on. It's intense. Here's another mode, not because you would ever have this, but just the fact that we can control everything in bench test like we always do our lights when we finish them. We want to see all the different functions of what they can do. So we hooked up the brake light to this just to be able to show them off so you can see what brake light looks like, what the reverse lights look like. The only thing we don't have hooked up to this right now, which we can easily add if we want to do it for bench testing, is the halos, the factory halo lights. What we're actually going to do on these lights is set them up on a strobe controller as well, and they're going to be dancing back and forth while it's doing these animations. So if you can picture that, these flashing, those flashing back and forth, like it's totally attention grabbing stuff that looks awesome on the back of an already hooked up GTR. So it's just another option on top of all the other ones that we offer. And when we're testing it out, this is the way we do it. We just hook it up. We use this ride controller here on the bench. So anything that we want to test, instead of having 8 million wires hooked up all over the place looking crazy, or a little switch panel like we used to use, it's all Bluetooth now. So we get to test it, show it off, and we're going to be doing this on an Instagram live feed right now and answering any questions as people see this happening. God, that is too bright. So yeah, I hope it's all interesting to see all the different modes, because this isn't a GTR specific thing. These are basically universal parts that we're making for the GTR and having them look the way that looks best on a car with round taillights, but this could be an Audi, this could be a Mercedes, this could be any type of car out there, a Hyundai, a Kia, it doesn't matter what it is, it's all custom work, and we're teaching about how to do this type of work. So if you don't have the budget to pay for a really crazy one-off custom job, but you want to learn how to do it, we're going to talk a lot about that and feature stuff. So just stay tuned. It's going to keep rolling out week after week after week. We're going to have multiple things that come out all the time showing how we do things, and then just showing off the cool finished product. These are some headlights that have a lot of functions built in. I just want to talk about them on the same video as the taillights that we showed before, because it's just a good example of how these universal parts don't require any specific shape or any specific car. So this is the running lights that we add to the GTR headlights. They're much, much brighter than stock. And then we add a lot of different functionality to them. So in this case, we have a sequential turn signal, and it's going from bottom to top. We've programmed it to do that. We can do it in any order that we want. It just depends on how we tell the LEDs to act. So the fact that it's doing sequential right now with the turn signal, and then it goes back to white, that's a combination of multiple different parts, all of which are universal. So it's nothing that was specifically made for the GTR. Now we are making a part that is specific to the GTR that does all of this just better, and it takes a lot less time for us to install that part. Theoretically, as soon as it gets here, we'll find out. But that's the idea, to build lights like this that we can get out a lot faster and have a little bit easier of a time doing it, because this setup takes at least a week to put together. It's pretty intense. So, other cool stuff it does. This is a lightning bolt animation that Jack designed. It basically goes from the top down, and we program it in a way that the left side has a slightly different program than the right side. So when the two headlights are on a car together, one of them flashes at one point while the other one's off, and then it swaps. So you get this cool strobe effect. I have a stupid little dance moment in a video just a few videos back. So if you want to see that, check it out. It's pretty cool actually seeing it on a 2017 GTR. So that's one animation. Here's another one. We call this one stacking. It's just a pre-saved animation that you can zap to pretty much any part that you want to modify to do sequential. We're teaching all about how to do that, and I'll show you the parts that I'm modifying for another set of lights we're building for a customer in Dubai right now. And I think he'll be happy to see his lights finished up, but we really wanted to capture what goes into these lights to build something like this, so that it's not like misunderstood that we just dropped a part in that does all this stuff. You're not gonna get anything like that out of the box. There's no kit. This is a bunch of raw parts that we've made by hand. It's just crazy stuff. It's not the best scalable service, because we can only build maybe 3 of these things in a month. And if we sell 10 of them, we're in trouble. So yeah, let's just say we've sold plenty more than 10 of these things, and it's very hard to keep up with the demand. So we're trying to produce a part that does it all for us, and then we can build a ton of these things, you know? So that's the part. It does really cool stuff on the car. It looks great. It's just so intense to build these things that being able to show them once they're finished like this is one thing, but actually building them and trying to do that and keep multiple customers happy and not take too long to do it, it's a totally different ballgame. So doing something once, great. Doing something 100 times, that's actually great, because that means that you can keep up with it. So we're working on it.